You're not going to have to learn that right now. But what I do want to talk about is tonguing. Tonguing is when we use the tongue to stop the vibrations of the reed and to stop the sound for a short amount of time. The reed vibrating causes the sound of the clarinet, and when we stop the vibrations with the tongue, it stops the sound momentarily. And we do this when we want to separate notes. For instance, so what I'm doing is a constant stream of air and just using the tongue to lightly touch the reed and stop the sound. Now, most beginners usually start with just what we call huffing, and that is using the air, stopping and starting the air to get those separations. The problem is, huffing is a much more difficult way and less consistent way to get those stops and starts in the sound. If I were to try that same note with the same stops and starts with huffing, it would sound like this. I can't get as fast, and the sound isn't as good. Let me demonstrate with a little bit of a scale. Here's huffing a scale. And here's using the tongue. There's better definition to the articulation, to the stops and starts of the notes with the tongue. And you can go much, much quicker by just using the tongue. Now, proper tonguing technique would be the tip of the tongue touching the tip of the reed. It doesn't take very much to stop the vibrations of the reed. So if you imagine my finger as the tongue against the reed, the tip of my finger, or the tip of the tongue, against the tip of the reed is the ideal place to tongue. You can even, as you're preparing to tongue, meet the reed with the tongue before you put the mouthpiece in your mouth. Then you know your tongue is in the right place. Now, just one more example of huffing versus tonguing. Let's take the last 4 bars of hot cross buns, and I'm going to huff this, and then I'll do it again tonguing it. When you get more advanced and start playing faster music, then tonguing comes in very handy. If I were to try to huff a scale very quickly, it probably wouldn't work too well. Here's an example. It's very difficult to get speed and to get each note to speak when it's supposed to and have a good tone. Now, tonguing. You can go much quicker and it's much cleaner.